We have talked about the idea that Oklahoma could potentially get new assistant coaches, analysts, or whatever all offseason. But the Oklahoma Sooners, they just made a move on a coach, a head coach, actually, that was fired from the University of North Texas after, well, he actually put up a pretty good season in terms of North Texas standards, but I guess the University of North Texas just doesn't like to win games. But before we dive into it, please go ahead and hit that like and the subscribe button. Listen, if you guys see my videos pop up on your feed and you're not already subscribed, subscribing isn't going to make my videos pop up anymore. It just helps me out a ton. So go ahead, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to pop up on your feed regardless. So you might as well just go ahead and subscribe and join me in what we are doing here on the channel, because we are bringing you commitments this year. We are bringing you more player interviews. And listen, I am going to start bringing you guys on the show. So if you want to come on, hit me up in the Twitters and I will bring you guys on the show to talk whatever you guys want. But Oklahoma head coach Brent Venables today announced that they are going to hire Seth Littrell as an offensive analyst after he spent some time with North Texas and got fired after a 7-6 season last year in 44-44 from 2016 to 2022. And here's the deal. Seth Littrell played at Oklahoma as a running back from 1997 to 2000, helped Oklahoma win that national championship, which, by the way, thank you, Mr. Seth Littrell. Now we just need to get another one on the board because, I don't like this drought, and I'm ready to go to a national championship game. But anyways, not a stranger to Oklahoma fans or a lot of the staff, because remember, in 2000, Venables was on the staff. So he's got some familiarity here with maybe some of these guys. But Seth Littrell is a guy that he's been around the country a few times, coaching numerous positions and at colleges. Started off from 2002 to 2004, helping build the foundation with Kansas as a graduate assistant, moving on in 2005 to 2008 as the running back coach for Texas Tech. Then in 2009 was the running back coach and tight end coach for Arizona. Then in 2010, got the promotion to co-OC, running backs and tight end coach. And then in 2011 at Arizona, he got the title of offensive coordinator, running back, and tight ends coach. In 2012 to 2013, you see Seth move on to the University of the Indiana Hoosiers, which, by the way, come on, guys, need you to perform in this bracket for college basketball, but we ain't talking about that right now. He was the offensive coordinator, fullbacks coach, and tight ends coach at Indiana from 2012 to 2013. In 2014 to 2015, he got to go to one of my favorite states that I've actually been to because I just think it's really pretty, North Carolina, as the assistant head coach, offensive coordinator, and tight end coach. So one thing you've noticed, he's continued to move on up through the rankings. And then in 2016 to 2022, he was the head coach for North Texas. And then, of course, got canned because, again, the University of North Texas doesn't like to win games, apparently, because, well, you go 7-6 and yeah. But Oklahoma is making strides on the recruiting trail, and they're making strides in the recruiting game as well. Seth Littrell hasn't been able to go out there and get a lot of those, five-star guys, but he's been in recruitments for guys like Tommy Hatton, Taj Williams, Eric Stevens, Harrison Jeffers, and J.J. McCargo. And listen, those were places like North Carolina, Indiana, Texas Tech. So you would expect at a place like Oklahoma, Seth Littrell, which, by the way, a guy that's from Muskogee, Oklahoma, is going to be able to help sell the identity of coming and playing for the Oklahoma Sooners, and especially when it comes to recruiting this in-state talent. Because you now have a guy that is from Oklahoma that can sell the idea of, hey, listen, we want you here. We might not have a scholarship spot for you, but we want you to be a PWO. We want you to have the opportunity to play for your school in your home state. We want you to have the opportunity to potentially, yes, you're not going to get a scholarship now, but potentially earn that scholarship later on down the road. And that's something that Seth Littrell is going to be able to do. He's going to know how to sell Oklahoma to these recruits on the recruiting trail. And so I'm excited about the addition of Seth Littrell to the University of Oklahoma. And I've seen you guys on the Twitters over the past couple of months talking about how, when is Seth Littrell going to be announced? Are we going to get a new defensive coordinator? Well, it's not defensive coordinator. It's not even a defensive analyst, which is what we're hoping Jim Leonhard ends up becoming, as an analyst and maybe a coordinator down the road with Oklahoma after he has hip surgery and is recovered from that. But we'll see how that's going to line up. I think there's still some things that can happen with that. But with Seth Littrell, you now get the announcement. Venables is excited. The team is excited. The fans are excited. I'm excited. So you should be excited too. All right, cool. Now, I mentioned Jim Leonhard, so I want to go ahead and throw my thoughts out there with it. But if the Oklahoma Sooners are getting Jim Leonhard on for a coach's clinic, and I get it, Leonard's going to be having hip surgery, so he's going to be taking some time off. He's going to be a little bit immobile. I just had a friend who had hip surgery, so I kind of understand what that's going to take for him to recover. He could still be a defensive analyst, sit up in the box, kind of help the team out a little bit, maybe help the secondary understand some more schemes, maybe give Brandon Hall and Jay Valai some tips and tricks. Hey, wouldn't be too bad for the Oklahoma Sooners. And even if you only get him for a year, maybe it's the year you need Oklahoma to really turn this ship around on the defensive side of the ball. But maybe it turns into a thing where Ted Roof decides to move on, or maybe they decide that he's going to be better fit as an analyst and a recruiter, and you see Jim Leonhard take over a defensive coordinator. Maybe he decides to move on, go to the Eagles next year, or go to another college football program, and you see Bronco Mendenhall step in. I don't know what it's going to look like, but whatever it's going to look like, Oklahoma is doing all the right things on the recruiting trail. They're bringing all the right people in for coaches, creating a splash and a lot of excitement around this program that you should be excited about, I'm excited about, and the players are excited about. Because listen, we talk to recruits all the freaking time on the show, and I message them on the Twitters. Listen, guys, when I'm giving you recruiting information, it's because I'm talking to recruits in Instagram. I'm talking to them on Twitter. I even have some of their phone numbers, and we talk on the phone. So guess what? I can tell you without the shadow of a doubt, with what Venables and the staff is doing, people are excited. And if the recruits are excited, if players are excited, guys that haven't necessarily give Oklahoma looks in the past are excited, you should be excited. There shouldn't be really too much to complain about. We got to give Venables and the staff at least this year and next year before we really start to make a decision. Unless for some reason Venables decides not to win 6 games or more this year. But that's another story for another day. If you guys haven't already, please go ahead, hit that like and the subscribe button. Let me know what you all think. Are you guys excited about the Seth Littrell hire? Additionally, if you don't want to tell me about the Seth Littrell hire and you don't really care, tell me what you want me to talk about on the show, because I'm sure some of you guys are fans of other college football teams, and I would like to talk about your team. I don't know how to talk about them if you don't mention it. So jump down in the comments below. Let me know y'all's thoughts. And again, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Helps me out. Doesn't really affect you a whole lot. You might see my content a little more, but if I'm already popping up in your feed, I'm still going to pop up in your feed, regardless whether you subscribe or not. So hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, turn on the notification bells. You don't want to miss any content we're bringing you.